Hi, I'm Sophie, and I haven't seen a lot of films.
Hi, I'm Paul, and I'm here to help with that. And we are
SP, Film Viewers.
So, we're finally getting back to watching some Tarantino films. We've covered 3 in our lifespan of this podcast.
Don't ask me which ones they are because I'm not good with directors and...
Right, we've covered Reservoir Dogs was one of the first ones we ever did of the proper...
Mr. Pink.
Yeah, that's right.
Pulp
Fiction, yep.
Jackie Brown.
And Jackie Brown, yeah.
I mean, give me one, I can kind of then tie him up.
Yeah.
But don't ask me what if you give me a film, then I'm like, oh, okay, I remember you saying they link together.
Sure.
But
okay.
Otherwise, I don't have a clue.
Understandable, yeah. So, I was debating whether to do these separate, but I think with a bit of time, we've got to do it.
Before the wedding gets really busy,
yeah. I thought it best to do it on a quiet weekend, or quiet week, whatever, whenever we get to watch them, break them up. It is Kill Bill, Vol.1 and 2, or as it's called as like a double feature, The Whole Bloody Affair.
It's about a woman, I know that, and she wears like a yellow trouser pantsuit.
That's one element of the film,
and she's got a knife.
Yeah, so you know of that. You've probably seen a poster of the holding the katana sword, yeah.
And I think she was on Strictly. There was somebody did a Kill Bill.
I thought that's sometimes your reference to movies.
Movie week, and I'm like, what movie is that? I haven't seen it. Well, there you go. Next time they do it, I'll know.
They might not do it again,
No, they probably won't now.
Because they have to keep on top of current things.
Well,
they'll soon run out of...
Kill Bill's not current, is it?
No, but it's iconic.
Yeah.
Like you've just explained with the yellow jumpsuit. So, the film...
Why is there 2 volumes of it?
Because there was enough of a story to split it that way.
You
think of like I think of like the Stranger Things episode when that was like
That's
2.5
amazing.
hours long, and you're not batting an eyelid to
it
that.
wasn't.
But it's this film. It's why is it split?
He's picking on me, viewers. He's picking on me.
Which one's not the viewers, then, isn't it?
Listeners, he's being an ass.
So, the basic principal storyline. I won't read the both. I'll just go with the one because it's kind of like a continuation anyway. It says a pregnant assassin.
Pregnant?
Yes.
Like, as in she's...
She's not pregnant the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I'll say. Codenamed The Bride goes into a coma for 4 years after her ex-boss, Bill, brutally attacks her.
It's awful.
When she wakes up, she sets out to seek revenge on him and his associates.
So she's probably not pregnant when she goes to go and assassin him?
No.
So that's not right then, is it, the way it says that? It
No,
makes it sound like she's got a bump and she's wearing the yellow leotard thing, going out assassinating someone called Bill.
That's just the setup of the beginning of the film, and then it transpires.
Well, technically she wasn't an assassin until somebody did whatever to her, clearly.
Well, you don't think she was a trained assassin beforehand?
No. Maybe. I don't know. Now you're making me doubt myself. This is one you've seen, so probably it is.
So the first one, anyway, is probably the stronger element, I'll say. And also it's got a stronger Japanese element to it, so you probably appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I'm not looking forward to the fact that there's 2, because just like, for example, Back to the Future, 1 and 2 were good. Then you made me watch 3, and I was like, why the hell am I watching this now? So I just hope that's not the case with 2.
I don't think you'll find that as really not strongly. It's its own story. I think that's another reason why it's split that way. It's not like the exact same tone in a way it tackles the storyline, really.
We will see then. I'm not sure how I feel.
Yeah. I think you'll probably enjoy him.
You say
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
what you say?
A strong female lead. Anyway.
I like a strong female lead,
yeah. So, we'll be back with Sophie's thoughts very soon.
As your leader, I encourage you from time to time, and always in a respectful manner, to question my logic. If you're unconvinced a particular plan of action I've decided is the wisest, tell me so. But allow me to convince you, and I promise you right here and now, no subject will ever be taboo. Except, of course, the subject that was just under discussion. The price you pay for bringing up either my Chinese or American heritage as a negative is, I collect your fucking head.
And we are back, and revenge is a dish best served cold. According to the film's opening proverb.
Does that mean because they're dead?
I would say so. It's Klingon, which is a Star Trek reference, but...
Got over my head. Sorry, Gren, I know you're Paul's friend, but I don't have any desire or will in my body to want to watch that.
The series now.
Any of it. I've watched Star Wars. Sorry, people. Done that. I don't need another space sci-fi shit thing.
Okay, that's that then.
Is that done? Right. Kill Bill.
Kill Bill Vol.1. That's what they start off with.
So we start off with it opening up in black and white, and Sophie going, "Is this a black and white film?" I'm like, I'm sure she was iconically known for this yellow jumpsuit thing. So I was like, eh. And also, I don't know where I thought it was going initially. I heard this heavy breathing, panting, thinking, we're literally starting off with the sex scene already. Like, seriously? Like, that was just like making me a bit disgruntled, because it's like, I don't even know the characters before we get that intimate, you know. But luckily for me, it wasn't the case.
But unlucky for the bride at this point.
Oh my god, like, I sympathised so much.
Yeah.
Are we actually calling her by her name? Like,
are
we going to go bleep? Like,
yeah, you know, her actual name becomes like, obviously, when the film deems it worthy of her name be known, which is Beatrix Kiddo.
That last name is like, just like, no, nobody's called that.
No,
I'm sorry.
No. But, go on, carry on, as you were.
So, bless her, you assume in Volume 1 it is her wedding day, and that she has been abused, basically. Like, she's walked down the aisle and not got married, which is meant to be one of the happiest days of your life. You're not wondering that somebody's going to go, I object, I'm going to shoot the whole entire wedding party. Like, I hope that doesn't happen on our wedding day.
I hope not.
Well, we've waited long enough. Like, I'd rather him just shoot me already.
I'm not a part of an assassin gang or anything, or would hope to think that you're not. That maybe, some kind of...
I have a deep background. You don't know it.
Okay, right. Yeah, so now we should be worried.
You should.
No.
You should.
That somebody's going to come up from your past and say that you can't marry this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Mm.
It looks not one bit. But to be fair, I could relate, because
go on.
Oh no, wait, I can't say that bit. Oh, I'm gonna get told off by you, so I won't say it.
Okay.
Because I know you're gonna be like, no, Sophie, that's Volume 2. So
I'll
stop now.
Yeah.
But I can see common themes in Volume 2 that make me think of the bride to be,
yes,
which we kind of in that section get a little bit more about Beatrice and her background.
Yeah. Whereas this opening bit, you're like thrown into it from the get go, like what is going on? She's on the floor, she's battered and bruised. You hear this voice, like just describing, like she's going a little bit like at my most. What was it? What's the word in? I can't remember what the word was now. At his like most pissed off, basically. However he worded it, but before she says, "Bill, it's your baby," and then bang, gunshot,
Yeah.
goes to black. I'm thinking, Jesus, this is the film barely started and like it's all kicking off.
Yeah, pretty much. And you don't really get to see who Bill is, like, throughout all of the film.
The first, yeah.
You don't get to see it. You get, like, a foot, a hand, a side angle, never the face.
Mm-hmm.
You just get this deep, husky voice.
Yeah, David Carradine is the guy who plays it, and I couldn't imagine anybody else doing it, actually. If you said to recast him, I don't know how you'd struggle to find that, because of the way he just emphasises things and the way he speaks and just how he is, spot on.
I think Beatrice is really good as well. Like, for her role in the sassy lady that she portrays within this, I think she's outstanding. Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes you feel empowered. Yeah. I do love, though, within this film, there's so much potential of what they've done with it. Like, the camera trickery, the fact that we go from black and white and then we turn up into this house and... all colour, really vibrant, purple kind of hues and really cleverly done. And you're like, well, wait a minute, she's just been shot. How is she alive? And you don't get that kind of jigsaw. It's like it's all been, it's like getting a puzzle, literally flinging it on the floor and all the bits are everywhere. Yeah. And that's what this film is.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like what was in Pulp Fiction, where it was kind of just sequences taken out of order, and it's kind of like, rather than keeping it all linear, it's kind of like, okay, where's this going to go next? I think that's as another play on that with the Pulp Fiction. Obviously, that was interlinked in ways, but this is also as well. But it's kind of a bit more right. This is the chapter of the such and such, but it's still keeping you on your toes in a way that's kind of like, right, okay, where's this going to go next? Rather than right, I've got the tick list of who I'm going to kill. It's going to be that person next. It's either explaining situation backstory, or it's right, this is the next person I'm going to kill. And
I think it's, I'm not meaning this in a bad way, I think it's easier to follow than Pulp Fiction is. Mm-hmm. Pulp Fiction is a little bit like, completely, like, you don't know where you're going to be in the next bit. Mm-hmm. Whereas this kind of all makes sense and it ties up. I don't know if it's because I'm getting better at films and watching them, that I kind of valued and was able to watch it as well with these hidden little gems. Like, there's a scene where we go in to fighting his first person on his list. I'm rubbish with names, so I'm hoping...
Yeah, I think her proper name was Vanita Green, but in her new family life, she's called Jeannie Bell, or a.k.a. Copperhead, which is a snake name for the group.
But she had a lovely purple house. Obviously, they had a fight scene which was epic in there. But then her daughter came home, and it was like, oh, being all nicey, hiding the knives behind his back.
Almost like a cartoon, isn't it? It's like. Yeah. With like Tom and Jerry or something, you're smashing up the house, and then suddenly the lady comes back over and it's like, oh, we've not
done anything. Yeah. But there was a shot once, like, that kind of said to the little girl, go in your bedroom, don't come out until mummy says so. Mm-hmm. And they're in the kitchen and they're talking, and the angle is literally from above.
Oh, yeah, showing walking along.
And you kind of see, like, even the set, so to speak, because obviously no one could see inside a living room like that, because you would have a roof or... But
bird's eye view.
Yeah, and it's just really clever. It's like, okay, but it doesn't look like it's not a house, if that makes sense. But it looks like your perspective is like you're peering inwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Simple as that. It's not really that hard to do, but it's just, you don't see that often.
No, it keeps it all fresh and engaging with what's going on with the situation. Now, one of the things that when I first saw the film, and we obviously mentioned before about the bleeping. Mm-hmm. When the name was spoken. When I first watched it, I think it was probably in uni, and it was on DVD, and I think it was like a second-hand copy, whatever. So I thought, is there something wrong with the disc? Because I didn't understand why is the bleeping. It's like, I thought is it coming from someone else's room or something? Or like, there was some siren alarm going off or something? I don't understand. Like, it sounded like a beep noise, but it's very loud.
Yeah.
Or semi-obnoxious, but it's kind of like, what the hell? So I didn't really understand what was going on there.
I did say to you though, didn't I? I was like, why is it bleeping her name out? Like, are we not allowed to know it? And you literally said until
not yet. Yeah.
her character's developed.
Yeah.
But then you said if you listen to it.
But you did actually pick out. I think you read, I presume, or you.
No, it sounded like it.
Beatrice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I told you. Yeah.
When you told me, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You said it kind of sounds like it once you heard it.
Yeah. It's kind of. It didn't when we were watching on this. It wasn't as not prominent. It didn't seem as loud. I don't know. Maybe it's again because I've seen it.
You were aware of it.
Yeah.
To me, it sounded loud. It was like, well, what's happening?
Yeah. And also when she comes into the knocking at the door of Gold Genie, and there's that again siren noise when it's like the dramatic
I'm coming to kill you kind
music.
of noise.
And that happens almost like every time that she encounters or she kind of remembers, right, that person did this to me, or
triggers something off in her.
It's like an alarm ringing in your head. Yeah, really good and effective. She soon quickly ends up getting offed, really. I like the fact when she's making her daughter's cereal, Genie, it's called Kaboom, and then sort of shortly after she fires a gun.
I didn't see that. That is good.
Then she gets knifed.
Well, yeah,
and then
she shouldn't really do that. Well, she's the kind who planning on having a fight elsewhere, where her daughter wasn't.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things that you just standoffy situations, like going to almost sucker punch you, catch you off guard to do, because if you plan something like that, it's you might wuss out or not happen later on or whatever. So it's like get when they at least suspect it, but it doesn't work, and she ends up getting killed. And then her daughter kind of comes in surprisingly, it's not like, oh my god, mum's dead or anything.
I'd be crying, I'd be in fits of tears. If that was me, she was just more shell shocked.
Well, not even that. She was kind of just staring blankly, almost like.
But I did like what Beatrice says. She's like, if you're feeling still upset about this when you're older, come see me and I'll understand. Which in
its own right would make thinking, would that be good enough to make a sequel where she's coming after.
And she's a little bit older then.
Kill Beatrice, yeah.
Yeah.
Spin-off, yeah.
I still think, to be fair, Beatrice would be. And obviously then later on, she'll have other people on her side as well. She also has a car called the Pussy Wagon, and at this point, we don't know why.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the hell would any woman have that as a vehicle? I'm like, really vibrant as well as horrific.
Mm-hmm. But it obviously goes into that when it explains 6 months earlier that after the clean-up with the massacre that happened at the church, that she's been basically in a coma for 4 years.
No baby.
Yeah.
So obviously that must be so hard anyways. Waking up 4 years you've lost of your life. You don't know where you are, what's happened, who's around, who's not around. You don't know if you've got a child or not. Just the thought of it, your life stopping for 4 years, but you still age, you still...
Yeah, and we complain when, we've lost a year because of...
COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
4 years is a lot longer. And when you don't actually know that what you've been what's been going on those past 4 years.
Yeah. In the world or anything.
Think of all the TV you could have missed. All the Netflix shows.
Of all things to worry about.
But before that kind of happens, we get one of the other members of the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad, Elle Driver, who's the one with the eye patch, and she's
the whistle. That sounds something sinister about it.
Yeah. And
obviously Paul whistled because I can't.
She's about to administrate a drug, though, into Beatrice, and she's just before Bill gives her a call and says, there's no honour in killing her while she's sleeping, like a dirty rat, trying to kind of just sneak in and just go through again. It's more like the traditional Japanese way to, if no honour in doing something like that, you have to face the enemy head on.
Yeah.
And in combat
which is fine and it's fair. But I think, to be fair, there's no honouring what they did at the beginning when they shot her on her wedding day.
Not really.
So, if we're speaking of honour, then really you wouldn't do that. Not in a church.
There's more gunplay. It's not in terms of like the samurai way, I suppose, at that point. But I get what you're saying. It's not right, but I feel that's kind of his undoing, really, because he could have taken the easy way out, and then obviously then the film would have ended and he'd be alive.
True.
But
yeah, we won't have a film. A lot of people would be alive if they did do that. To be fair,
yeah, everybody would. Yeah. So then, yes, she eventually manages to get out to the pussy wagon, but she kind of realizes from through some people that her body's been used for.
It's awful. It's like basically rape.
Yeah.
I know, obviously she's not. I don't even know. She's not conscious, which I think is disgusting.
Itself.
Rape is not the right thing, anyways. It's gross, and it's not a morally right thing to do.
No.
But what I don't understand is how you can do that with somebody who's not giving you anything back. It's all one way.
I know, yeah.
It's like literally,
it's just,
might as well just
be in a bed, yeah.
Doing something with a dead body, basically. That's what it is like.
Yeah, because, I mean, the body's, if it's in a coma, it's still warm. I'm sure, obviously, the pulse is beating high. It's not like a dead thing. That's obviously even worse.
I don't know, actually. At least they're dead.
That's necrophilia, so.
But Lisa, like, how did she not get pregnant? Like, unless it.
Well, he said, book says that her organs aren't functioning or something. So
okay. So, still doesn't justify it.
Because, I don't know, the eggs producing.
Out of fertilizing, so they're not.
So
they're not producing the eggs.
Yeah, to do that if you're in that state, I guess. 'Cause it's like in a shutdown base.
Right.
In like or standby mode, should I say. Yeah. It's still not. It's not great, and it is a bit like, oh my god, like how many people, including that nurse, is just like, I'll just pop me.
Yeah.
In, yeah, and just
still violated, and it was just awful for her to think that way, that somebody's done that to her body.
Yeah.
Can't even imagine that what person would even do that, really. So like the thought of it, like you think when you're in hospital, of all places, that you would be
safe, yeah.
Looked after. That's the number one place where you should be looked after. Mm. But he gets his comeuppance. She is awake. One guy gets his lip, tongue ripped out, and he's bleeding everywhere. It's felt a little bit like Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah.
And then the other one gets a door
bashed into
his head. And at this point, to be fair, her limbs aren't functioning. Just, like her legs, she can't walk. She's crawling. Because she's just woken up for 4 years.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a struggle to do that, but I suppose a nitpick is kind of like, she gets a wheelchair from somewhere, but how does she get out to the car park without anybody, seeing her? Is it that much of a graveyard shift that the doctors are all busy to...
Well, it must be, because to allow that to happen on, a night, I can imagine. But also, my question is, normally in a car park, you would either have stairs or elevators, I'm guessing, or a lift. So I'm guessing she's gone in a lift somewhere.
Elevator, yeah. She must have done.
To get to whatever floor. But, how does she know where the car is? Such a fluke that it's just there, but it's a film.
The car must be one level of the car park.
We know hospitals, that's not true.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there's slight gripe there, perhaps, but anyway,
right.
Yeah.
It's minor. So the Deadly Viper Squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have one main lady within this, I think. And I'm going to say her name wrong, probably.
Are you talking about Orenishi?
Orenishi, yes.
Yeah.
I love this part of the film. Because it just... You're watching normal people, it's in colour now, black and white's not appeared yet again. And then it just turns into an anime. And I'm like, what am I watching? I'm really confused now. I was just watching a film, with people, live action... And now I'm in an anime. And I'm loving it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a long section.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah. No, it's, I think it's one of the reasons why the film had to be split in two, because if that would probably one of the things where it would have to be removed, that entire thing to explain that, it would probably be like a sentence that she'd, in a dialogue, whatever, So to preserve that part of the film, which I think is a good way of explaining the backstory, particularly, obviously the origin of the character and everything. To do it in that anime style is spot on and deserve to be shown. So it's like, okay, well, we'll split the film in 2 sections so that you're allowed to have that one time, because obviously the whole thing, it would be far too long for a regular audience to go see.
Yeah, because are they like 4 hours like in total?
This is 1 hour 50, I believe, and the other ones was 2 hours 15. So yeah,
probably
verging on 3 and a bit hours.
Yeah.
Which is probably for a normal film these days, like the Batman or something like that.
But it is amazing, and the actual Japanese element of this film, the anime part, like, it's quite gory.
It's very good. Probably, I don't know, it's probably the goriest anime sequence you've ever seen.
But you also feel that emotion within it of her, and you kind of see her as a young self, which makes it innocent.
Yeah.
And it kind of works when then you see her grown up as well in acting as like the actress is in
Lucy Liu.
Yeah, and it's just so clever. And I don't think lots of films do that, where it kind of the style changes dramatically. And I think throughout this, it keeps you on your toes. You're not watching the same film. Like 1 minute we're in black and white, the next it's really vibrant. Then we go into anime, and then it's like, oh, we'll spice it up and go into black and white again. And it's just this whole kind of artistic piece that somebody's kind of spilling paint everywhere, but it works really well. Like, it's not like that niche where it's like, oh, it has to be this film and it has to be this colour and this lighting all the way through.
Yeah.
It's like, no, fuck that. We're just going to do whatever we want.
Exactly, yeah. It's such a creative way of going about it to have that element to explain that part of the story, and you welcome it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a fantastic way of delivering it, because, like I say, it can just summed up in like a very short bit. Then okay, next,
and
explain.
And it gives you the background for Oren Nish.
Just call it Oren.
Oren. Okay, great. So obviously her parents die when she's, I think, is it 9 years old? Yeah.
Yes.
And then revenge kind of kicks in, and she wants to kill the person who's done this to her parents. Luckily for her, they say on the film, like, he's a paedophile, so that's great. So she kind of lures him in.
Yeah.
And stabs him basically while he thinks he's getting lucky by an 11-year-old, which is gruesome to think of the thought of 11-year-olds even thinking of those things. Like, I'd like to think if we had a child at 11, they wouldn't be thinking of A, sleeping with somebody, B, never mind stabbing them in the heart.
But that's all down to revenge. I don't think she was actually...
Oh, no.
It actually happened. It was just a
alert.
And then it's like, right, got you.
Yeah, but still, like, the thought of that at 11 years old is...
Like, again, obviously got the anime tropes of, like, close in on the eye, and it's kind of, like, really focusing, like a taking aim, shake camera, and then it's like slow motion thing, and just, everything about it is fantastic. It's so well done. Really enjoyed that part of the sequence.
I kind of do prefer Volume 1.
So do I. It's definitely the stronger part. So they start off strong, and I think they did right with how the latter part was more focusing on Oren, her story. So not obviously she was the first on the list for whatever reason, but we went to knock off Genie at the beginning for the first one as the first scene. It's like a little taster, really.
Yeah.
For
like a minor kind of like, oh, okay.
This is where we're going with,
yeah. But Beatrice then goes to Japan, which we are really biased.
Oh yeah, before that though. We get obviously the foot cam. Camera. Is Tarantino has his foot fetish.
Oh yes, and wiggle your big toe.
Wiggle your toes.
Wiggle your big toe. Yeah.
So obviously that's before she can even drive the car. Yeah. It took her a good while to do so, which I don't, which I understand, because obviously been in the coma for that long, you've got like no sensation probably.
You've not moved for 4 years or walked or anything like that. It's going to be like literally feeling like a toddler.
Yeah. But yes, she flies to Japan. We haven't been to Okinawa.
No.
Sadly. Yet.
Yet. You never know.
It's its own little island. And she's here to find, I think it's Hanzo, for the needing some steel, i.e. a katana sword of such superior quality that's, to do the job of killing Bill. And anybody who stands in the way, basically.
She wants to do it right.
Yeah, it's the best in the business.
And also, to be fair, she wants to make sure he's dead. Not like Bill, half-assed, kind of killing her.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a question, though.
Mm.
So when she's got the sword, and we have this quite nice scene in Japan of kind of this sword maker who's got a blood oath.
Yeah, she said he'd never swore to never make one ever again, type of thing. Not for killing, basically, but because of who it's for, he's like, oh, I see, right, then yes.
I understand why you want to kill him.
Yeah,
I'll help you.
I get you, bro, yeah.
But how do you get a sword through customs? Like, she was sat on the plane with this sword by her side. I'm like, no way is that going to work. I'm sorry. Not any aircraft will go, yeah, of course. Come on, bring your samurai sword and just leave it there and then
in the
kill
seat.
everybody. Yeah, like, no, it's a weapon.
Yeah, it's a bit peculiar. Because, I mean, if I had wanted to bring a katana back from Japan, I don't think they'd definitely be questioning, why have you got that in your luggage bag, sir?
Yeah.
But I assume people must be able to, if they wanted to buy one, but they just have to put it in the custom,
declare it
and go in the luggage department. But yeah, certainly not in your seat.
Not in your seat.
Yeah, I know it's a fabled weapon of sorts, but it doesn't, excuse the fact that it's still a weapon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think this part as well, really, it's all about Oren and the vengeance. I don't really know what Oren's done wrong, but she seems to be the one on her to-do list and the one that she wants to kill the first. And I think she's the hardest one, to be fair. Even in Volume 2, for Beatrice to kill. It's like, it feels like a Tekken game. Like, until you get to the boss.
Yeah, it's very much like you've got to fight macronies, basically, to get to. You got the Crazy 88, which is like the big Yakuza clan that trained assassins to help her out. And then we've got like one of her other main lackeys, which is a girl called Go-Go. It's like a schoolgirl with this like swinging mace. She's
scary.
Right? Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
like she can do some damage, like for sure. To say she's only young.
Yeah,
but it just feel like is it the devil boss in Tekken? That's what it feels like. Like
is it Jin Kasama or whatever it's called?
Yeah. It feels like you have to fight all the cronies to get to her.
Yeah.
Or him, should I say?
Yeah.
So we get to a point of where it is just this epic kind of battle that we end up having. So Oren is quite clever and knew that Beatrice or somebody was out to get her when she was eating in the restaurant and kind of fine dining.
Mm-hmm.
And she could sense someone was there. She's got obviously her lawyer as well, like.
She called Sophie.
Yes, she was.
The interpreter as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's like one of the best friends, really.
Gone to the bathroom, and that's when it all went down.
Mm-hmm. Before that, also, when they even get to that restaurant place, and they've got that, when the music kicks in with it's called Battle Without Honor or Humanity, and it's the famous do 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 corridor walking sequence, which you probably even heard that.
Of course.
Bit with in other films. I think it's been like Mitchell's vs. Machines has been like where it's like the slow walking away, panning from the camera. And it's
but I've never known what it's been related to,
but,
or mimicking.
But I'm pretty sure that is what it's most famous for from this film. That sequence of like walking towards the camera in a dramatic, slow, epic way, and it's fantastic. Yeah, just thought I'd bring that up. But now we get to the big fight.
And now we fight!
Yeah.
And it is an action-packed, good chunk of a fight scene, isn't it? And to be fair, I'm not going to lie, this isn't something I normally would enjoy. I
was a bit worried when we were watching it, thinking, Sophie's going to be like, so this is boring now. Like, just get to the...
But I think I didn't get that way because it was cleverly shot. It wasn't just like, oh, this is a fight scene. We'll just constantly panning. Right. There was lots of clever camera trickery within it. There was a way that she jumped up the stairs at one point. And I'm like, how the hell has she done that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was so many clever tricks, and because you were rooting for her at this point, because she'd gone through so much, you actually really wanted her to succeed, especially when they sent out all those crazy, whatever.
Yeah. And also, like, Go-Go nearly had her with a mace thing, and you're thinking, oh god, she's
she's going to
die.
die. And I think that's really clever within this. Like, you do get some points where you think, shit, she's going to die. And even in Volume 2, you're like, she's gone.
Yeah, no, well, this keeps interesting because you can't have the heroine or hero be like, oh, I'm just acing this the whole way through and not getting a single injury. Or
films, you know, like, even if it happens and they don't ace it all the way through, you know, like, she's the hero, that she's not going to die. Sometimes with this, though, you actually think, oh my god, are they actually going to kill her? Because to be fair, at the beginning, she was nearly enough dying.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes you realise and think, well, actually, she could die at any second.
Yeah, your lives are in danger, really, at that point, yeah.
There is one scene in this, though, that there's like a bit of comedy as well. There's like a little boy comes up and she's trying to fight him in the Crazy 8.
Yeah, I think that was one of those moments where the lighting changed as well, didn't it? Like in a blue background, the silhouettes, almost like in the dark. The lights go out purposely, almost like a scene transition or a scene change. Yeah. Stage change.
And they were in black and white at one point, which for most of the fight scene, and then obviously, like you're saying, it changed into then the silhouette, and then it changed into colour when she kind of got to this young boy again.
Yeah.
And then she whaps him on the arse like,
Don't. This is what you got. We're fucking with the Yakuza.
Yeah.
It's like, go home and think about what you've done.
Go home to your mum and dad.
Yeah. And that's really funny. Like
smacking him on the bum.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, this is actually humour as well within it.
But it's, I mean, it's in a sick and twisted way. It's almost kind of funny when she's, I can't remember exactly when it happened, but obviously, like, in the aftermath of everything's going on, looking down on the floor and all the bodies are there going in pain, and some people just kind of crawling away and trying to like grab the limbs or whatever. I think that's the point when she says, anybody who's still left alive, leave your limbs, they belong to me and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, Sophie, you stay where you are.
Yeah, don't you move, you're mine.
Your arm's chopped off, but you're staying there. I'll come back for you in a minute once I find Oren.
But why didn't she go? Like, I would have done if, like, in the big battle, I'd have sodded off.
I know, but I think it's like, I'll hunt you down anyway, so it's,
there's no point.
Yeah. And then once we do get outside to have the final showdown in this like snowy Zen garden.
Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's like so tranquil. It's all white, and it's like I didn't even know it was stone when they got in the building. To be fair, you wouldn't have realised. Yeah. And it's cleverly done where the artistic side of it looks like a proper samurai sword fight. Mm-hmm. It's really kind of taking a nod in that direction. Also, there's this log water thing, which I want.
Oh, like a bamboo waterfall thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like it pours the water in and doom, doom.
I'm surprised it's not frozen, though, to be fair, if it was snowing.
It must have literally just been occurring, but I think it's almost like, again, like an entirely separate world that she stepped into, like the next stage.
Yeah.
Almost, and it's like that, so it's kind of has that, let's say, video game vibe to it, in a sense. Like, surreal, but it works in the way, because I think I want to say that part of this, I'm pretty sure some of it has taken elements from this other Japanese film called Lady Snowblood, which is, again, I think another vengeance story of a lady from Japan who's had to seek vengeance against whomever, and so I think there's probably an element to that in this part of the film. So I haven't seen it myself, but it's something I'm definitely intrigued to check out.
Of course you are. Mm-hmm. It's Japanese. Now this scene, it does go on a little bit too long, but it's artistic and it's majestic. But then the way that she dies is a little bit like, wow, okay, that was a bit gorier than I anticipated.
Right.
Which is strange because we've just had a lot of gore in like literally blood splattering and everything, but with this it's not so much, it's a bit more stabbing and not really kind of a lot of gore. It's
kind of quick to do that and it's like move on to the next thing, not delving on too much, but because the film's like it's showing head's top of her head sliced up and seeing the brain and everything.
Yeah.
We're like, oh jeez. Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, that's a bit full on.
But yet still not like uber. It wasn't like blood was gushing out of her head or anything silly. Like some of the instances, obviously, like in the anime sequence, that's very over the top. Like,
Yeah, it is.
A fountain of blood going on. But there's one instance where like a flashback of when the girl Go was in like a bar or something. This guy was trying to screw her or hitting on or whatever, and then she like cuts basically up his nuts or whatever, and it's like his entire intestines pour out and everything. I'm thinking, jeez.
Paul's feeling a bit sensitive down there now.
Horrible. Yeah.
Well, he kind of got what he deserved. He shouldn't have been thinking with it, should he?
Yeah.
Or do it with somebody your own age. We do know that her daughter's still alive, though. I wrote that down, by the end of this chapter.
Yeah. Before we get into the second one, though, the very minor gripe with the first film. I don't know if you noticed when there was the plane sequences, when you're obviously seeing the plane from the outside flying along. Did it look like they were like computer generated ones? They didn't look realistic planes, and they're kind of like floating in space type of thing. You know, like it's just like, oh, that's just clearly just a backdrop. It's not a real plane.
I'm gonna really be honest with you.
And who weren't paying that close attention?
No, I was like, yeah, okay, I've seen it. That's like really not a valid shot for me to remember. That it didn't really impact me.
I picked up and I'm thinking that doesn't look like a normal plane going along.
Probably wasn't. It's too expensive to do that. Cut down and just do.
Yeah, just slightly distracting, but it's nothing to take away too much. Really, just
hard taskmaster you are, aren't you?
Yeah.
Want it all.
So we'll move on to Volume 2 now.
Yep. It's a good job we're not having a wedding rehearsal.
That's more an American thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not doing that. So I don't know if we're just winging it.
It just seems really weird, doesn't it, as a concept anyway?
Yeah, and also she's wearing a dress in front of her husband-to-be, which is bad luck. Or if you think of stuff like that as bad luck.
Well, it's definitely bad luck.
But
in her case, yeah.
Well, yeah, it is. And I'm a bit similar to her as Beatrice as a bride. Like, I'm not having nobody at my wedding that's on the bride's side, but the bride's side is very minimal in comparisons to the groom's side. I don't need X amount of people to fill up my side just for the sake of it. I only want the people there that I truly care about.
No. But as I see it, my friends are your friends. So.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. We've been together near enough 10 years now that they are my friends as well. Mm-hmm. So they can sit wherever they like.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So it's like, oh, this is the bride's side. If that's the case, I'd only be having 4 people. Because technically they knew you before they knew me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Beatrice is the same, obviously. So she doesn't have anyone, does she? She doesn't even have anyone to walk her down the aisle.
No.
So Bill turns up.
Mm-hmm.
He's questioning if she's happy with her choice, decision. You know, is this what you really want? And you can kind of see that there is some form of chemistry and a connection there, and you don't really know if it is a father-daughter or if it's a bit more than that, like, because he's quite older than her.
Yeah, but I think there's some intrigue from there. Just because he's an older person doesn't mean not interested in his ways. I think at the end, in fact, so jumping at the thing where it comes up as like his name, and it says a.k.a. the Snake Charmer. So he's kind of like he seems to have a lot of even in the first one he's kind of like, so my dear Elle or Sophie, as well, as if like he's kind of like smooth talker to all of them really, and he's got a player for all the women.
I don't see the appeal.
Yeah. But anyway,
so he asks to be the dad initially.
In this scenario,
don't worry, my dad is my dad. You've seen him plenty of times, so he's not like this random person that's gonna kill us. Okay. Well, I hope not. But basically, she's gone from being a brilliant assassin, killing people, to now working in a record store. Yeah,
I think it comes down later, more developed as to why she wants to change her lifestyle. But I might as well say it now, really. the fact that she's become pregnant and that's in the moment of knowing that her life has completely changed. Her life is over, essentially, as being an assassin. She can't live this life anymore. She's got someone she's other than herself to care about. So she's got to be thinking of a better life for her and the child.
Even though, to be fair, she'd have more money, but obviously they'd be flitting around here, there, and she wouldn't be really kind of present and not have a stability. And Bill, she didn't really want him looking after her or being the father, really, I think, was the other part.
Yeah, so this other guy's settling down with. And it seems to be like a happy life to be working at a record store and listening to music. And
all day. Something you'd like, I think.
Something my dad would like to do if he could. To have a record store and be able to do that. It would be
could just sell his own. Karen would love that.
That's never going to happen.
To make his own record store. No, the problem would be he'd not even get any money from it because he'd just
be buying the new stuff in. Yeah, new Bob Dylan album coming out or whatever.
Like, I'll just order that myself.
It'd just be like me if I had like a Blu-ray store or 4K till a shop. I was like, the new whatever's coming in. Yeah, I'll be getting that.
Oh, that's discounted because I bulk buyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have enough space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so from this, it's like, you sure this is what you want? And she's like, yeah, I'm absolutely sure. And then it's like, almost like, you made your bed. I'm going to lie in this with this situation. And brings, come on, guys, bring your guns in and shoot up. And yeah.
Which I'm surprised he does because he's really close to her. So it's like he really likes Beatrice, so how can he do that to her? And as the story develops, you even really question, like, is he a bit psychotic because he actually really loved this person? Mm. So it's like, if I can't have her and I'm not going to be happy with her, then I don't want her on this planet.
Yeah, so if I can't have you, no one can, essentially. Yeah, that kind of old saying.
Yeah. So obviously the 4 people come in, so we have Oren, we've obviously got the copper head, which have now been axed off.
Yeah.
And we've got the other 2, which is Bud, or Buddy? Is it Bud?
It's Bud, yeah. Who's the brother of Bill.
And then the eye patch girl.
Yeah, Elle. Yeah.
Elle, which is the easiest one to remember, Sophie, and you call her eye patch girl.
Eye patch lady.
Oh, what an idiot. Come on, I got 3 out of 4, that ain't bad.
Yeah. You got Oren, yeah. So.
Yeah, since, just been talking about it for like half an hour.
Or more, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I understand the frustration with this, with Elle particularly, in this, and the fact that Bud kind of gets the upper hand on Beatrice. Like, she finds him at this trailer park.
Yeah.
At this trailer. He's in the middle of the desert, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he's just waiting in his chair with a shotgun with some rock salt to fire at her. And like knocks her back and it's like, oh right, we're gonna bury you now, bury you alive. And it's a bit like that's again almost like a cowardly way out of doing it. It's like there's no effort there whatsoever.
I think it is a horrible way to die though.
Oh yeah. To be buried.
So they did say they wanted her to have a brutal death, and that would be quite
slow and
slow. Yeah, it would. It'd be slow. It would be not a nice way to die. So I think, to be fair, it is a cowardly way out, but at the same time, it is a very...
Yeah, it's a very easy one, isn't it? It's kind of just... I mean, what I mean by that is, again, like, there's no effort as such, really. He was just sat on his arse with a gun, went boom, just knocked her back, and it's right, you're injured now. You just carry you...
And put her to sleep.
You up. Yeah.
And then... That's it. Yeah, that's it. And then shoves her... Digs a hole and then shoves her in a... Yeah. But it kind of gives you this whole vibe of then you forget she's in the coffin because it takes you to...
Another flashback of the train. But again, which is purposeful. It does this, obviously, like I said before, like how it explains certain scenarios of why this happened or that bit comes into play later on in the film.
Oh, it is relevant to give you this information now.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have like a not so nice Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. To say the least. He's called Pai Mei.
He's Chinese.
Yeah.
He's
And he has a marvellously long beard.
For some reason, it reminded me of Mulan, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was a dragon, like Mushu, or...
He didn't have a long beard. I'm sure one of the other characters did have a long beard. I think it's, yeah.
Reminded me of Mulan straight away. And he was really quirky, but the character, he was an arse, but he did it because he wanted people to better. He was always pushing people out of the boundaries.
Yeah, much like a good mentor sensei would want to do that, but be your best, really.
Not as thoughtful as Mr. Miyagi with your life lessons and such, like, more brutal in that sense.
No.
But you do forget she's in the coffin, and you're like, when it flashes back to that, you're like, oh, it all makes sense.
Yeah, because explaining how, to punch through the wood with your fist, go...
I would never be able to do that.
No.
And the persistent of it, like, keep going, and your hands are bleeding, and you wimp out just getting a little cut, you're like, oh.
Yeah, I don't have a particularly good pain tolerance.
No, you don't. You're like literally like a fairy. Not meaning he's gay, by the way. I'm not insulting anyone. I'm meaning like literally like a little tiny fairy, like injured, and she'd like faint.
What?
Like little fairy getting hurt.
Why would a fairy faint just from...
Like, you just hurt herself on a little tree paper cut. But you get arsey when you get hurt as well.
Everyone gets arsey when they get hurt.
No, you're more. I think my pain threshold is a lot higher, which is great because when I'm giving birth, I will be better at it than if you were to give birth. But I think that's any man to woman ratio. Let's not lie about it. So she does the wood.
Yeah, pushing through to get to the coffin. Thankfully, it's not very thick wood, so I'm assuming that's why she was able to do it in quick succession as opposed to like a big thick block of oak or something.
Good job there was no expenses paid there, wasn't there?
Yeah. Cheap plywood, essentially, probably for the coffin. So, yeah, she ends up getting out there. And, as I say, like, Elle was kind of annoyed by the situation because obviously that was like her biggest like nemesis almost, a bit like Batman and the Joker type of...
Yeah, it's like somebody axing you off your...
worst like enemy that's your most worthy adversary.
And also it wasn't like she was happy with how Beatrice has got kind of killed off. Mm-hmm. She felt like he wasn't like the worthy killer of her.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Yeah, where she was more like, she's more with the swords and everything, she's more tactful in that sense. So she would have wanted to have it out in a proper way. Even though initially she was willing to just inject her with something to put her to sleep. But I think it's more like, now I actually want to fight it out properly with you, which she kind of gets with her. But unfortunately, before that even, she gets, Elle tricks Bud with offering him money for this sword that he has Beatrice is in possession, but he gets an actual Black Mamba to off him, which Beatrice is known as Black Mamba when she was in the Deadly Viper gang.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like she's got back at you now, like, in a sense, in this animalistic form. But Beatrice and Elle do have their standoff fight, and a good use of that music there again. I think I probably haven't talked much about music other than like I've mentioned about like the corridor thing and stuff, but these fantastic moments always stick in my mind, like this one in particular with that dramatic do like almost like again a horror element to it, but dramatic styling, and that really stands out as like a moment in the film where they kind of have the standoff, everything, and she kind of takes her other eye out.
That was horrific. Yeah. I was like, what? I did wonder what had happened to her first eye, why she was wearing an eye patch.
Yeah, that was explained as well.
And it was Pie.
Mate took it out because she called him... I
think she called him something...
Silly old fool, that was it, yeah. And then she poisoned his fish or something. Or, yeah.
And then obviously Beatrice was devastated that her actual master had died. And then that's when the eye was out. Yes. And then she stood on it as well. I was like, okay, this is gross. I think that was the first time the level of gore was actually like, okay, this is a bit too much, because you saw the eyes crushing yet again in the feet.
Yeah.
In between your toes and everything. It was like, no, I didn't need to see that. Just taking the eye out would have been good enough. You didn't have to stand on it.
And I know, but then
it's not
she
like she could put it back in her eye. She can't see, can she?
Yeah, it doesn't reattach itself with the...
Or the eye's going to be able to still see on the floor. It's not going to happen.
Left.
Yeah.
Left, this way. Yeah. No, it doesn't work. It's not a cartoon, sadly. But, so, she kind of leaves her for dead, essentially, really. You kind of assume that Elle's just left to bleed it out, really, essentially, which is a kind of... He's in the middle of nowhere, so it's like it's going to be a bit tricky for her to get anyway before that kind of happens. So I can maybe see a reasoning. It's kind of like that's a pretty brutal way to leave someone, just leave them hanging
in the dark. I did think she might just go and stab her off, but no, actually she's left her kind of for dead, which is more cruel, really. Yeah. Is not ending her suffering, is it?
Yeah.
So then she's going for Bill.
Big showdown of sorts.
Not that much of a showdown, actually. It threw me off guard. I expected like this big fight off like with Oren, and it wasn't really that.
No, but it had a more dramatic punch, really, because of that, didn't it? Because you're thinking, obviously, Beatrice at this point didn't know the daughter was alive, but then it had to be subdued a little bit because when she was like, "Oh, all intentions go, all guns blazing, going in," and then it's like, "Was it freeze, Mammy?" Went to the little girls.
Yeah.
They're sitting, she's like, "Oh my God, I didn't actually know that you even existed," really, and it's a bit of a shock to the system, and it's like... Oh,
she's waited 4 years, and God knows how long it has been killing everybody else to get to Bill.
I think it must have been a quick succession for this too.
But, like, all the time that she could have actually spent with her. Obviously, you can't help it when you're in a coma, but flying to Japan and doing all of that.
But it's all part of the course, really, and it's more of a emotional impact for her to go. It was a smart choice, I think, because it'd probably be boring if it was like, what would you do? Like if, say, like a boss level of a game, it'd be like you probably have to fight even more people.
Yeah.
And then he'd have a big, I don't know, machine or something where he's got like some thing. It'd have to do something really epic for like a last boss battle. But
that's true, and I think this works really well. Also, the fact that the daughter has killed her fish. This is a bit sinister as well. I'm thinking, what's Bill been teaching her while Beatrice has been away? But she loved her fish, and she took it out of the tank, and it was flapping, so she stood on it.
Yeah, and in that moment, she realised what she'd done, really. Concept of life and death, right at that moment. At
the age of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I don't know when you realised what death was, but...
not that young. Well, they're saying that. I mean, I didn't have a good concept of it, but my grandparents on my mum's side, I don't remember them very clearly, but I knew of them, and then there was an instance where they were no longer around, and then we were in Birmingham, and then not long after, I think it felt like we were over here where we are now in Bradford. So that is, I guess, the clearest way I can think of the thing of life and death, really. But obviously, they were just there one moment, and then they weren't.
I think animals are normally
but not indirectly.
Yeah. Mine was quite probably traumatic. It was the first way I learned about the birds and the bees, which was the fact of these bunny rabbits. Yeah. Mine was Snowy. And it was meant to be a girl, and it wasn't. It was a boy. Mm-hmm. Why Sarah's has to be a girl? And mine has to be the boy one. I was absolutely devastated. But Sarah's bunny was a bitch.
Bitchy bunny.
Because she had babies.
Yeah.
And she sat on them and suffocated them.
Was there too many?
There was too many. Oh. And she killed the babies. And that's how I learned about life and death.
What, and you watched this happen? Or you just realised?
No, basically, the bunnies were alive, and then we went to the hut. The bunnies weren't moving.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
So, you're like, why aren't the bunnies moving?
Yeah. And how old were you, sorry?
Probably 9.
Okay.
It's a bit more bearable. I think 9.
I can't imagine you taking that well, to be honest.
Can't imagine.
They say you take that very well.
No, probably not. I don't know what I did. I probably wasn't happy. But then I think I slagged Sarah off. It was like, your bunny's evil. Mm-hmm. I think that's what Sarah got. At least mine was a boy, but it didn't kill anybody. So it was like, you've got to horrible rabbit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does help when you've got pets, I guess, to kind of teach you that. But the fact that she killed her fish, like, that made me think, what's Bill been teaching her already for her to want to stomp on something and crush it?
Well, she seems to like the samurai films anyway, because once Beatrice tucks her in the bed and she's like, oh, do you want to watch a movie with me for sleepy time? And it's like this film called Shogun Assassin, which I looked up and thinking, that sounds cool. What is that film? I do actually have, it's part of a set, but it's like a amalgamation of two different films from these Japanese movies called Lone Wolf and Cub. But I think it's like a Americanized, dubbed version, because obviously when they were watching it, you could hear like there were English voices on it, rather than just Japanese, which I can imagine even for a child that would be like, what are you saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, sometimes it can be like that for me, and I'm not a child.
Yeah, but Bill says, oh, that's too long. And I think, and in my head, I'm thinking like, was it like 2 hours, 3 hours, or going on 4, like 7 Samurai or something?
Yeah.
Well, it was only an hour and a half.
That's
like,
not long.
That's not long at all.
That's a good film range for me.
Yeah.
But I guess it's long if you stood there waiting to kill somebody.
Yeah, it's like, oh, come on. Yeah. What am I going to do for that time? Just get like a episode of something up.
But then to go to sleep, is that really a bedtime worthy if you're meant to be going to sleep straight away? Then probably not. But I do think that's like a lovely scene where she's tucking her in and she's finally becoming a mum. Yeah. And looking after her. And
still watching it,
Yeah.
It's nice. Mm-hmm. To have that bond with the child in the future.
She's going to love you.
Yeah.
She'll hate me because I'll be like the...
Do you want to watch The Shining?
Paul, no!
Jurassic Park then.
Yeah. You have to bear in mind, she's going to be a mixture of me and you, or he is going to be a mixture of, or they, should I say. So one of them might have my wimpy traits.
Yeah, obviously.
And Paul's like, no, they won't.
But a nice aspect to that as well, when the girl, sorry, she's called Baby?
BB?
BB, a BB gun.
Like a BB gun, yeah.
B leaves a necklace on her side. I think it's almost like a precaution, just in case I don't come out of this alive. You've got something to remember me by.
I'm so surprised though by this, because it's like they clearly love one another still, and it's like, why can't you just live harmoniously together? Like, she's looking upset about it, and he truth drugs her, wanting to know why she left. So clearly there's a connection there.
Yeah, it's a love-hate. Clearly, and obviously a lot of hate for her in an obvious way of like, well, you literally tried to kill me. You overreacted when you learnt the news. You kind of just like almost leaned in towards him, like what did you say, bastard? Yeah.
Like, overreacted, you knew have killed me.
Yeah. Doesn't even begin to cover it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it shows what you can do when you're in love, I guess, and blindsided.
Yeah.
I do think they generally love one another. And it's quite sad that they have to fight it out. It's like, why can't you just be a little family? But it kind of is established with Beatrice, where she says, when she realises she's a mum, that's all she cares about. Like, initially, all she cared about was Bill. Like, to please him and be with him. But when a child was on the way, her priorities changed, and she didn't want to.
Yeah, and the fact that her baby, well, she learned about the baby, she was going to be assassinated by someone else, and it's like, no, wait, just a second, you've checked that pregnancy test, I'm pregnant, and like, oh, I don't believe you type of thing. But then it's like, no, you at any point you'd be right to kill me, but at this moment I've just learned this information, and now I'm going to be a mother, so kind of leave me be. Yeah.
And I think that's really what her main thing is, that she wants to be a mum.
Yeah, which I guess the most important job a person can be, for a mother anyway, to be a female to be her mother, and a male to be a father. Yeah.
And I do think, to be fair for Beatrice, she ran away so that her daughter would be safe. But Bill, bless him, thought she was dead and he mourned over her. So no wonder he was a bit pissed off. Like, she didn't come back after a mission at all to explain it to him and tell him why.
Yeah.
She just flit off, and then he's marrying this random person, and she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, I could kind of understand, like, I thought we had something going on here. Mm-hmm. And be a bit miffed, but maybe not to the level that he was.
No. So, this obviously, the final confrontation, really, with the two of them.
I thought it was going to be a massive sword fight.
But, in a way, it kind of comes around in the most simplest way, but an effective way of the
5-finger something.
The 5-point palm exploding heart technique.
I'm going to do it to you now. Boom.
I hope not.
It did look really funny, actually, the way she just looked like she was tap dancing with her fingers on his chest.
Yeah.
And he was shocked.
Because he wasn't even taught that by Pai Mei. So it's almost like a surprise thing for that. Because I think that's in a way, that's probably the most poetic way it could happen to him, because he broke her heart, so she's breaking his, literally, by doing that. And, he's got 5 steps before that happens. It's like, it'd be interesting to know, like, if he just sat there in the chair that he was in for the rest of his life, would he be able to survive, technically?
Well, possibly, I think so, but would he starve if nobody fed him?
If someone brought food to him,
I think so.
And drinking a pot to piss in, then I guess
you could have a commode and just pee.
Yeah, be boring life, but
be alive.
You'd be alive is
better than being dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then obviously he stands up, and she's whelming. She's literally physically wanting to cry, like the fact that he's dying. Mm-hmm. Which is like, well, you just killed him, so why are you crying?
But she felt she had to do it because she knew that it was either him or her.
Yeah.
And he owed her that much. She took essentially a child from her for 4 years.
Yeah.
It's been longer, and
she's gone through a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Because of that. So, yeah. And then make it away to a motel, and then the story ends and you get the credits.
Well, no, you get this weird thing where her hair is 1 minute shorter than the other.
Yeah, you did point that out, and I'm thinking,
so she walks out with Bibi, and her hair's like to a shoulder length. Then she's crying, laughing in the bathroom that she's successfully killed Bill, and she's got no enemies or anything like that. And then she comes and hugs Bibi on the bed, and her hair is like underneath, like over her shoulder. It's like, wait a minute. And it did say, like, the next day. Yeah. It wasn't like it was like
3 months later.
No, that you could kind of justify it. So I'm thinking, continuing error there. And you had to fast
rewind
to check. And you were all right, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were right. Yeah, so good spot on that one.
Thank you. Pat my head. Thank you.
Yeah. And then, because obviously then it carries on with the credits on as they're driving away, and you see her, and then she got back the short hair back, so it's like, okay, weird that it was that, but yeah, these things happen, I suppose, with the...
I'd have gone if I were her. I've got the wrong length of hair here. I'd be like, no.
But, yeah. I know.
Well, I did.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, so that's the whole bloody affair. That's like I say, that's what the film is being called as if you were to watch in the entirety, which I think has been like a cut, basically, where it's just there's no... I don't know how it would work with the credits, actually. Obviously after the first one ends, whatever. In a way. But, yeah. So, hope that was an enjoyable ride. And
it was, even though it was long, which you know what Soph's like. I'm like, no, I don't like a long film,
But you felt it was benefited to split it up in that way. Like, it actually had a point where it's like, right, that's a cut-off point, and we'll come back to this like another day.
Yeah.
And think over what you've seen, and then like refreshed and be like, I'm ready for the next bit now.
Definitely, and I think they're two different films.
In their own right, in instances, yeah. And I think if you were trying to cram all the aspects into one film, and shortened it, into 3 hours or 2 hours and something, there wouldn't be enough time to develop the characters and everything like that. So it is a smart move to have done it the way it is. But
no, definitely, and you get your character developments, you get the artistic values, you get all these music elements.
Yeah, fantastic.
Within
Cues,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is it?
It's you.
Me.
Yeah. So, are you doing it in each individually or just the whole experience?
I'm going to do them each individually, but I'm going to compare and explain why.
Okay. Yeah.
They're that way, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll start with Volume 1 initially. Volume 1 is my favourite out of the two. I just think, biasly, it's more Japanese orientated. You've got that brilliant anime scene. You've got the fighting element with the samurai sword. And you kind of building Beatrice's character up, but still there's so many unanswered questions which you get in Volume 2. Volume 2, I think, is a bit more... The fighting's not there as much. For the title being Kill Bill, yeah, that's what she does, but the actual fight scenes aren't as intense and epic.
Yeah.
Compared to Volume 1. The storyline is there, but it's not as strong, and I don't think the characteristics of like the anime or the lighting is not as
focused in that one. No.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's more dialogue driven in the second
Which
half.
I can't believe I'm complaining about, because I know I love dialogue.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've seen something that's really artistic and a brilliant piece of work, and then Volume 2 is brilliant in its own right, but if you had to compare the two, one shines stronger.
Okay. Yeah.
So for number 1, it's... I love seeing Paul's face when I do this. A 10.
I wasn't surprised this time.
No, you weren't.
No.
I was just disappointed. It's like, I felt like I said a 10 and then you just didn't do anything, and I was like, oh.
Like, whoa! No.
I think Volume 2 probably sits at a strong, 8.5 for me.
Okay.
I think, to be fair. I do enjoy the elements of it, but there's a bit more gruesome with the eyeball and the squishing of... I was going to give it a 9 and I thought, no, because it doesn't even do... Does it flip black and white a bit? Don't think it...
No, it did just when in the church. Obviously,
yeah, but
that's
not
almost like a flashback, isn't it, essentially? Because that's from the same point where...
Not as much, though, apart from that. It was like...
No, it's not as many clever elements with going through that all.
And I think that's what I missed, because I'd seen that in number 1. I really wanted that, and that's what makes number 1 a 10.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Over to you.
Yeah. So, the whole experience is, if you were to...
I'd say it's still a 10 if you put them all together.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
But number 1 makes it a 10.
Stronger. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm fairly similar with your scoring. The first one is definitely a 10.
Woo!
No question, really. There's more to enjoy this time from the Japanese element, especially, really, as a bit more of knowing the culture a little bit better and everything, and that helps particularly. And I say, the anime section is just chef kiss to that. Really adds something to that, something fresh.
I didn't expect you to do that.
The second one is a bit of a letdown in comparison, really. Not to say it's bad, because it's still got some good elements to it. The dialogue is what drives it more in this one.
Yeah.
And I say, particularly more the back end when Beatrice realises she's got the daughter and everything. That's quite a nice sentimental.
Yeah, it is.
Turn of events, really. And seeing that is really sweet. But I think I would put it at, say, 9.
Okay, yeah.
I was thinking of 9.5, but I thought maybe 9's still good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the whole experience is still a 10.
Yeah.
Really. So I was thinking, to myself, because it's definitely seeming like this is probably one of its second running for top spot of favourite Tarantino film.
Pulp Fiction at the top.
No.
Oh?
No, it's not. We haven't covered favourite Tarantino film.
Why?
Because we're doing it sequentially. That's why.
Okay.
That's why.
What?
Yeah, no.
Why are you making me watch all of them and not watch your favourite?
No, that's why we've done Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown in the order of his filmography, really.
What do you like? Can I even know the name, or am I not allowed to even know the name of it?
No, I'll leave it for now.
Leave it
because
in suspense.
I'm sure I've probably mentioned the name before, but I'll leave it for time being.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Another 10 in the bank, essentially, for the first part, at least.
Yeah.
Yep. Getting a lot of 10s this year.
Being generous. No, I think I'm just actually realising the love of film.
Yeah.
We also, just to put this in there, we watched another good film, which we haven't reviewed, which we just put on, and I really enjoyed it, and it was an anime. So if anyone does like anime or anything like that on the back of this, I just have to say, because we watched it last night. Belle,
yep.
So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's kind of an adaptation of Beauty and the Beast, but oh my god, it's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking that one out. It's like in a cyber modern tech universe, really, where it's like Belle is the avatar of this girl who's gone through some trauma, really, and this beast has also gone through similar kind of modern trauma. So it's a good solid story. Yeah,
It's really gripping, and for an anime, it's a good lesson within there, and kind of gives you good morals. Also, it's not just one of those animes which is like, oh, it's pretty, put it on, and then Sophie falls asleep. It's quite a gripping.
I'm surprised you didn't, because normally you do that. You have a tendency to
with animes
subdued, like, oh, this is nice, and then
so nice,
like background noise for you. But
no, it's really good. So if you can get your hands on it and have a watch, I would.
Yep. So thank you very much for listening to this episode, and if you would like to check out some of our other episodes, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever else you might get your podcasts from.
So if you haven't already, you can follow us on social media. So we're on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, under the handle SP_filmviewers. And
lastly, if you would like to leave us a 5-star review, you can do so over on Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and wherever else they do the scoring system.
Yep. So any kind words or any reviews or anything like that would be truly appreciated. Obviously, we are getting up to the run of our big day, so we are very much planning, and, well, I'll say Paul's planning. I'm not doing that all. Of film reviews and everything.
Yeah, you're doing other planning. Yeah.
I'm doing the other planning. I'm doing the hard planning.
Yeah, sure.
Paul's doing the podcast planning.
Yeah.
While I sort a wedding.
Yeah. Yes, that's the thing. We've got a schedule now of what I want to cover before we take a short interim break.
Yeah.
Honeymoon and everything. So, yep. So look forward to getting into those films with you. I think we've got some solid picks, I'd say.
I think actually we've worked out better probably than us winging it, which we normally do.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to do that. It's like, oh, something's come out this week, or it's in celebration of that we'll put this on.
But that's good if we can.
But I think you need to be like a bit more like
Also, we need the smallest violin for you for the fact that you're crying over the fact that you only get 2 Halloween.
Yeah. Although I think in some regards we've kind of covered a few, like Silence of the Lambs. Was kind of one.
Didn't do that with Christmas films though, did you?
No.
No.
But you'll be happy this year. We get a full one of them this time, don't we? So it's your.
Damn straight we do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, once we come to that, we'll see what's in store. So, thank you very much for listening once again, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.
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 Bye.